Ask yourself this. What would you do if you hopped on a plane, flew all the way to LA for E3 2018, got off and walked around in the big warm, settled in for your first conference of the week, and saw this?
Young Kev, how has it been, your success and your path, to where you're at today?
It's, I've always been a competitor.
Wow, okay. So the key to be the number one player in Madden is to hurt your arm in baseball. That's number one. That's awesome. That belt is so amazing. There's a lot of, bling on that belt for you. Wow.
Would you? A. Suck it up as you're being paid to be there. B. Begin scrommeting, a mixture of screaming and vomiting. Or C. Tweet angrily at developers about your demands, detailing specifically how you think a $150 million project should be made. It's C. No, sorry, A. It's A.
Wow.
So E3 has been and gone for another year, and I think it's safe to say that my expectations were utterly shattered and then swapped out for some strange alternate timeline where Phil Spencer, the undisputed king of smart casual, has transcended reality to become an all-powerful entity capable of warming hearts with his nice smile and good words.
The kind of love to last forever.
Okay, so, from the top, EA sucked, as always.
All right, are the players ready? Let's get this thing going.
Ready to go. I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
All right, let's kick this off. Nice little strategy game for those of you out there. It's a good genre.
And I want you here with me.
It's a good genre.
Sea of Solitude was far and away the best thing they showed for the entire presentation. It's a tale about loneliness and what that does to humans, presented as a fantastical adventure starring a little girl called Kay. Nice. The rest of EA's conference consisted of sports, banter.
What's going on, Vince? How you feeling today?
Can you stop speaking to me, please? Unravel 2, Yarny's big old dick, some indies, and Robocop.
And I want you here with me.
Wow.
All in all, it felt as though EA are just as clueless as ever in regards what gamers actually want, and instead are super hyped about streaming technology and Origin Access Premiere, which, to be honest, I'm still none the wiser about even after watching the showcase for a second time. Thanks, Andrew. I'm beginning to come to terms with the fact that if EA feel they can't reshape an existing franchise into a microtransaction cash cow, it will be thrown aside no matter its critical reception or fan appeal. Rest in peace, Skate. Rest in peace, Burnout. That's how you start a press conference, lads. Are you listening? I have a quick bit of speculation regarding Halo Infinite. Firstly, there's no way that's a current gen title. I'll eat my fucking Joy-Cons if it is. I'll be extremely impressed if they can recreate those visuals on base Xbox One hardware. Also, judging by the big wide-angle shots, the animals doing their own thing, the little physics interaction with the radio, and the bloody name, I'm guessing this will be an open world Halo game. Halo Infinite. What's a Halo? A circle. What's a circle? Infinite. What's a warthog? A car. Who drives cars? You. Where do you drive them? All up the side of this yoke. Microsoft ticked pretty much every box that needed to be ticked in order to save face and curry favour at this year's E3. We got hot new exclusives, a raft of third-party and indie announcements, and an admittedly surprising public acknowledgement that the next Xbox is coming. Which is a dangerous move considering the Xbox One X has been on the market for less than a year. What really hit home the most though was the sincerity of the whole thing. Big Boy Philip is either a genuinely passionate gamer or the world's biggest scam artist. Only time will tell in that regard. Hey guys, I was lying, turns out I'm a dick. Xbox is cancelled. I doubt we'll see the fruits of his labour until the next generation of Xbox, but it's a great statement of intent that put Microsoft's showcase at the very top of this year's conference for me. Following Bill's Boys showcase, we had Bethesda coming at us with the hottest E3 showing of 2006.
We aren't all developers, but it takes all of us, every one of us, to make these games. A job we take very seriously. We are all Bethesda Softworks. How may I direct your call?
Yeah, hi, Bethesda. Can you guys get your shit together, please? Look, I don't know if it was sleep deprivation or just Bethesda being odd, but the entire showcase just felt really weird. We had Andrew WK terrifying the audience.
Despacito!
Pete Hines smirking and looking down his nose like he hates everyone. We had Fallout 76 looking like the game Fallout 4 should have been. And Todd demoing some of his stand-up material?
I got to go to the very first E3 right here in Los Angeles. I know. They're so cute when they're little.
This guy, he lies, cheats, and shrugs his shoulders through a 25-year-long career in the games industry, and yet he's still so fucking charming. Anything he touches becomes an instant bestseller, and there is no sign of that changing. Todd, please, just write a book. Tell me how you do it. I want that level of haphazard success.
Yes, I was in the chess club.
So Bethesda gave us all of that and still found time to briefly introduce Starfield, which they described as a next-gen experience. He could and probably should have stopped there, but no. We also got a look at the Elder Scrolls 6? Fuck it, Todd. Just whatever goes, I guess. He should have just kept going. Hey, dickheads, do you like Master Chief? Well, here's a look at Dishonored 5. Suck it.
Wow.
Onward to Square Enix's showcase.
豪華ラインナップに加え、もちろん最新情報もお届けしますので、どうぞ最後までご視聴ください。
Absolutely shit. Next.
All right, everybody at home, are you ready? Yes, we're just gonna assume that they're ready.
You gotta love Ubisoft. They have a European charm to their showcase every year that either leads to top-class memes or just genuinely memorable moments. Honestly, I can't fault a whole lot here. Beyond Good and Evil was a really strong start, but I did find it really difficult to maintain my interest when they started deep diving into Skull and Bones and Assassin's Creed. These games are probably going to be very good, but they don't look different enough to what we've played before to really grab me for 10 or 15 minutes at a time during a press conference. Especially when it's one of those walkie-talkie missions. By the end I had kinda zoned out, and that's where I expected to be pulled back in by it's free real estate from Big Papa Eve. But we didn't get it. And I think that was a total indicator of where the industry is at right this very moment. Everyone seems to be staying relatively quiet about pretty much any game that's releasing after next spring. Both Sony and Microsoft have now clearly referenced next gen as a real impending thing. This year's E3 has been really reminiscent of E3 2012, where both companies just kinda sat on the fence and showed off their holiday releases without stretching the lineup out any further into the release calendar.
Imagine a game that combines giant cannons, tons of explosives, massive castles infested with goblins, and the power of Kinect. The exciting new title headed exclusively to Xbox Live, Racketeer.
Hey, over here!
This brings me to Sony. Oh, Sony.
Here again at PlayStation, we've decided to mix it up a little bit in the way that we're doing our E3 presentation this year. It is my great honor and my unique privilege to invite to the stage and introduce to you Gustavo Santaolalla.
That's none of those instruments. Look, I'm a Sony man, and I know Sony had tried to lower our expectations a couple of weeks back by saying that this year's conference would be a smaller, more focused look at 4 games in particular, but I'm struggling to see how these deep dives couldn't have been done in the context of a regular E3 show. And they did the same last year with Angry Dad and His Boy, didn't they? The whole thing came across as insincere and pretentious. From the games themselves, to the way they were spoken about, to the way they were presented. Sean Layden spoke of taking us on a journey, and literally took attendance on an actual journey in the middle of the showcase, which completely banjaxed the flow for those of us at home. I couldn't help but think this was both extremely unlike Sony and extremely typical of Sony at the same time. I have a feeling this could be the start of a return for Sony to their arrogant pre-PS3 era. $599 US. All of the games that were shown by Sony did not benefit in any way from the extended screen time. The Last of Us 2 looks like The Last of Us.
Not today, Liger.
Death Stranding looked like Mad Kojima stuff. Ghost of Tsushima was beautiful, but I'm still none the wiser as to what it actually is. Spider-Man looks amazing, but we've seen a lot of that game for 2 years now. Let's just play it. Seeing as I'm cynical, sad, and a bit of a loser, I'm gonna jump to a bit of a conclusion. Sony are at the exact same stage of R&D into next-gen consoles as Microsoft are. They just don't want to butcher their system sales by saying it. Bear in mind there was no PS4 stamp at the end of that Last of Us trailer or Ghost of Tsushima, and they had some big old graphics. This is pretty dishonest and more than a bit big-headed.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
This year's E3 was both incredibly disappointing and absolutely amazing in pretty equal measure. Much of the more exciting news actually came from outside of the main conferences, which again points to us being at that stage where things are starting to wind down before everyone comes screaming out of the gate next year with next-gen announcements. So that's all there is to say, I guess. Oh wait, Nintendo. Nintendo showed like 2 games and then a half an hour of Smash Bros. I'm done.
This is a Pokeball Plus. You can put a Pokemon into the Pokeball Plus, then bring it with you.
But can you do this?
Sounds like there's already one inside.